Do you ever feel like there's a massive disconnect between what you really want and what's being offered? Almost like someone offering you pepperoni pizza when you really only do cheese. Maybe some pepperoni if you're feeling frisky. But time and time again, the restaurant keeps offering you pineapple. And when you look around the restaurant, damn near everyone's picking off the pineapple. This is exactly how I feel about VR hardware nowadays. Time and time again, we keep being offered things that I don't think many of us actually want or surely use that often. And don't misunderstand, I think AR is really neat, but I just don't see how I could use it often. AR looks fun and interesting, but it's not what I know I use. And I haven't seen many applications that I'd actually use it in. Maybe I'm alone in this, but at the very least, I feel like there's a lot of people that feel like we're being offered something that we don't really want, or at the very least, not willing to pay 5x for those indifferent kind of wants. The kinda, I'd be nice, but not when it's 5x, kinda nice, you know? And yet it seems more and more like it's gonna become the standard. But why the hell are we talking about all this? Well, I'm not sure if you heard the news, but Meta just announced that they are basically unlocking their iOS or their software to any publisher who's willing to license it, essentially giving away their massive data center of hand tracking and the whole shebang, kind of selling the Windows of whatever software will run Windows. This is extremely exciting because possibly there could be a bunch of specialized VR headsets flooding the market, and hopefully, God, they're not too expensive. And well, I thought now's as good a time as any to talk about my ideal headset, the one that I think a lot of us would deeply want. The features that actually matter to us, and hopefully they don't cost an arm and a leg. First and foremost, I want to ask you guys this. How many of you upgraded to the Quest 3? If you did, boy, I get it. I am sitting on a Quest 2 and oh boy, those upgrades and those features look so fun. But I just couldn't bring myself to buy it. It was missing one feature that would have probably made me break and buy it. And that feature is my number one want in all of VR headsets, which is eye tracking. Foveated rendering, baby. The ability to look and to click and to render whatever you're looking at instead of the entirety of the screen, which would maximize the quality of what you're looking at, even maybe being able to super sample it, making it look even better, which we need when we're bringing objects really close to our face. But also, with Meta being hellbent on standalone, it baffles me even to this day that they didn't equip it in the Quest 3. Again, foveated rendering is the process of only rendering what your eye is looking at. This makes it so the headset has to do less work, but also if you have a PC, your PC having to do less work. Outsiders having fun things where your eyes are actually tracked and people can see where you're looking. That'll make you a creep in some situations. Be careful out there, gang. But Meta, in their ever infinite wisdom, decided to go with AR, which honestly does make some sense, especially looking at the Apple Vision Pro and all that. It makes sense. People are really excited for AR. Again, it's not that I'm not excited. It's just that I haven't seen anything that makes me feel like this is worth paying $200 more on a headset yet. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be right there. And it'll be like, oh my God, yeah, monitor's replacing? Sure. It's really hot to wear these things, man. It's like a lot of sweat on my face already. You want me to wear this 8 hours a day? Jesus Christ. Can you even make advancements in the comfort first? And then we make the 8? Anyways, back to eye tracking. Eye tracking to me is one of the most important things with VR headsets because I feel like there's some mechanic or something that can be done with eye tracking in reducing motion sickness, even if it's just increasing frame rate for wherever you're looking, or maybe allowing your headset to run higher frame rates because it's rendering less around the borders of your vision. Things like that I think would be massive, along with I think there's other things there, decrease motion sickness within that. The other thing that I feel like is so impactful for eye tracking is just being able to actually use it as a mechanic within a video game. Say you go up to an NPC in an RPG and you look at them for a few seconds and that triggers them to react to you or create a dynamic conversation with you. That would be fantastic, or for you to be able to pick options or menu settings just by looking with your eyes. This is something that everyone talks about being like magic, especially with the Apple Vision Pro, and I would love to see it in a VR headset actually within games or whatever. Again, eye tracking to me is the number one thing I want the most because it just lets you get more out of VR. Okay, I don't think this is quite like a number that I want as far as a headset thing goes, but it's really important to me. It is a bigger FOV on the lenses. And this kind of goes hand in hand with the eye tracking, because if you increase the FOV of your headset, it costs more power to actually run and render all of that more screen real estate, essentially. But with the eye tracking, the foveated rendering, it should help mitigate that in a big way. So you get more screen time, and you also don't have as much taxation on your PC or standalone headset. So that would be fantastic to me. I think both of those have to go hand in hand. And yes, but that's not the only thing that I deeply want within a headset. My next big thing that I hope dearly a headset swings for the rafters in is for the love of God, please upgrade the controllers. I don't need them to be tinier, okay? I just need them to have more functionality. VR is an expressive medium in which they're trying to replicate finger dexterity, okay? We also have magic and like fire powers. We have little things that are almost impossible to do with like trying to find a tiny little node on a gun and hovering your hand over it until you see it light up and then you grab it and you grab something completely else. Give me more buttons to press that are in an ideal ergonomic place to press them, okay? I also don't care how bulky it has to be. If it's a giant fucking boxing glove, I don't care. Just I want more buttons and I want them to be better tracked, okay? And ideally it doesn't cost a kidney, okay? Just to upgrade these goddamn things. Jeez Louise. Also, why have we went back? Valve nailed that shit about being able to individually move individual fingers. I feel like that gotta be with the development of sensors. I know nothing. I know not a single thing I'm talking about. Gotta be a way to replicate that without completely burning the bank, especially nowadays with the advent of technology getting improved and such. I just would be shocked that couldn't be done a different way for cheaper and also still give you the use set of that. Also, this is just something that I was always really upset about that the PS5 people got and no one else did. Haptic triggers. VR is the most immersive thing possible, so why would you not make controllers that have the trigger resistance setting? So when you pull back a trigger bolt, it changes based on the gun you're firing. Or maybe the grab button on like the Quest controllers, for instance. Maybe you can press it a little bit and have some play and you can move it like a tiny little bit of a centimeter, but then the final little push can be kind of squishy and difficult to kind of crank through. Kind of have some resistance on halfway button press. And that can be something like breaking a potion in your hand, or more brutally, and like Blade and Sorcery, you grabbing somebody by the throat and then you fully pressing that button down with a little bit of resistance and you when you talk about VR, you realize you were all kind of sick people. More buttons is what I'm at. Please, for the love of God, give me a controller with a lot of buttons. I don't care how heavy it is. I don't care how big and like clunky it is. I just want it to work. Also, it'd be cool if it actually strapped into my hand. Another feature I thought was lovely about Valve's controllers, where it literally straps it to your hand, which is the modification that everyone uses, even if it doesn't have any sort of like hand sensitivity finger grab. Better controllers, for the love of God. Better. It's been like years. They always look the same. Kill me. Better controllers. Also, it'd be great if we could actually move individual fingers. That'd be great. That was just awesome. And the third thing that to me is by far like the biggest thing that I don't think it's talked about enough, and I hear a lot of good things coming from Valve's Deckard and all this, even though I know it's like the boogeyman at this point. We're kind of like, it's kind of like fusion in the tech space. We hear about it a lot. Not a goddamn thing has happened. Anyways, the third thing I deeply want in a headset is better software for sharing your experiences. Not through Facebook, Meta. Kill me, okay? I want to be able to stabilize the image with a PC or within a headset and make it so that it is much easier to look at. This is the thing that frustrates me to no end. The amount of time I go and watch one of my favorite like creators, whether whoever it is, for you, I've seen recently that Jacksepticeye was playing a VR game, and oh my god, it's a skill within itself to record VR, to not look horrifyingly horrible. It's like a GoPro stick that's like 7 feet long, strapped to a head, and you're looking at like a person's pores as you're walking around, and it's the most disjointing, chaotic, hard to look at kind of thing ever. You know what's the funniest thing? Meta, when they didn't completely abandon PC VR, actually have an application that is by far the best thing to record on. So it's not like Meta doesn't know this, how important this is. And I hope, if the Deckard does exist, I really hope that Valve introduce software that isn't just showing you what you're currently seeing on screen, but knows how to pull back the POV no matter what. And we know it's possible because Meta has done it with the Oculus mirrored thing, which is how we record all the gameplay here. It's what you guys are looking at on screen right now. There's also other ways to do it, but it's still like clunky. Not every game works with this type of thing. It'd be nice to have like an industry standard. This is the baseline. This is the POV range you need to be able to pull back the camera with. If your face is clipping through it, no-go developers, turn off the head, something like that. Because I don't know about you, but a lot of how I find out about VR games is through a select bit of content creators in general. What game looks interesting, what game looks fun, and if the gameplay looks really grating and hard to look at, whether it's because it's shaky, it's not stabilized, it's way too zoomed in, it looks flat in a gross way, I don't want to play with it or experience that. The experience doesn't look like it's fun to experience. So the third thing I really want in a VR headset is just better software for recording your experience and being able to share that with other people. That would be fantastic. I know there's some things that Meta has within its headsets, and yes, but there's nothing built into the baseline of the headset, like adding in the headset stabilization or something or other. Things like that I think would be magical and super important, especially stabilization. Makes it so that you can stream it without making people want to vomit. And really quickly, just for some things that I think also also matter to me that would go a long way. If somehow, some way you could have some sort of like Bluetooth plug-in, USB-C type vibe where I could plug in this thing and it transmits a signal to my headset itself rather than having to be linked into a cable. I know there's weird shit with Wi-Fi 6 and all that crap, but it would be great if there was just like a high-powered USB something or other that I could just plug in and it just transmits data perfectly efficiently to my PC. That would be magical. That would go a tremendous way for, I think, a lot of people just as far as comfort goes. Another thing that I think a lot of people care about is actually the weight and the form factor of your headset. It's a meme in the VR headset community where no headset is made comfortable. You always have to buy random other people's shit to make it feel even manageable. For the love of God, man, please spend some R&D in just giving a bunch of different like nodes to tighten and to tweak your headset perfectly to your liking. Granted, it's not that bad to buy a third-party headset thing, so yeah. Another thing that is fantastic and is tried and tested for a feature that a lot of people want, so much so that they're willing to buy a brand new third-party thing, is face tracking. This is something that Meta has already been going kind of buck wild, kind of emulating with body tracking and kind of using the cameras on the headset to kind of map out everything else. I don't think it'd be impossible to slap a camera on that's just facing your mouth so it can track when you're smiling, when you're laughing, and hopefully there's some sort of, deep software encoding that makes it so that your smile doesn't look as cursed as it actually does, and it's kind of like a soft smile. So the AI, so it like reads your emotion and it's like, okay, here's the version of that doesn't look horrific. That'd be great. That'd be great. And one more thing, I almost forgot. The one thing that always sold me about standalone is the possibility of one day it integrating with your PC. Basically, the idea that you're able to tap into the processing power from the headset and also your PC. Kind of like a shared rendering thing. Most people have an okay PC, but with a headset that has a pretty good processing chip, why not use both? This is something that I'm sure sounds easier than it is to actually do, but if there's any company that I think could maybe make a dent in such a crazy ambition, is Valve, and maybe it's aforementioned Deckard. To me, as a PC VR player, that has a massive place within standalone. It'll just give me more power to run my thing, even if it can only render some things, like maybe the face tracking and the hand tracking and the chest tracking and all that. Still, that'd be immensely impactful for me, especially not having to pull all of the rendering out of my PC, like I said. Again, this probably is way harder than it sounds to make those integrate with all the various PCs out in the world, but if there's anyone who could do it, I think it might be Valve. But I might be just contributing to the weird, Deckard, this and that kind of thing. And that's it. This is one of those things where I don't know if I could have it all ever without paying like $3,000 or so on and so forth. But to me, the things that really matter is eye tracking, better controllers, having some sort of wireless connection to my PC through USB, whatever. Just transmitting would be fantastic. Again, better software for recording I think would just be better for the entirety of the VR space because content creators could make content and show off how amazing VR really is without it having to be a skill within itself to record VR. And if I could have a cherry on top, it'd be having a slightly better resolution. I don't know if I need like Apple Vision Pro crazy quality, but something better would be nice at the very least. And here's hoping it's around $1,200. That's about as much as I'm willing to pay. And I know that's not for everyone. Again, it'd be nice if I could spend like $600 to $800. Like if I could get the Quest 3 with eye tracking and a slightly better resolution and then take out the AR so I'm not paying for that as well, I'd be locked in, buddy. And also take off for me, well, this is where I just completely depart from most people who are watching this. Take off the standalone thing. I have a PC. I run it through PC. Instead of standalone, give me just like a USB receiver thing that I can just plug into my PC and bang, it just transmit that signal. Deckard, please. Even though I know it's not going to be that. I know fucking Valve, everyone's fighting for this goddamn AR shit. I know it's good. I'm also excited to it. But god damn it, there's been nothing that's not been like, it's been like, that's really cool. I would love to experience that for 3 days. And then I'm like, well, okay, I'm gonna go back to playing video games and I'm not gonna need all this seeing my fucking room that looks disheveled and disgusting. Anyways, perhaps I'm alone. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, please tell me if I am. What is your ideal headset that you deeply want? And with Meta's recent opening up of their iOS, that headset, if we make it known, can maybe actually be a reality from one of the manufacturers out there to actually be able to bring it into existence. So make your voice heard as much as you possibly can. This is what I really care about and this is what I really, really want to see within a headset. Will we get it? We'll have to see. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. Hopefully I can see you again. We cover all VR news as well as a ton of modding, like an uncomfortable amount of modding. Also Bone Lab updates happening apparently, and I'm just gonna have a heart attack. Anyway, love you. Bye.